My parents are coming to stay at our house for 3 days starting next Friday. Then my husband opened his eyes wide and said to me, "What? I don't want them to stay here. It'll be too tiring and crowded." What? Don't just say things like that out of the blue. Do you really have no common sense? I heard something snap inside me. What about you then? You always tell me in the morning of the day that your parents are coming, and leave everything to me to take care of them. Too tiring and crowded? That's how I feel every time your parents come over. It's not your place to tell people about common sense. My husband's face turned red and he started yelling at me. My name is Anna, a 35-year-old housewife. My husband Sam and I have been married for 5 years. We live together with our 5-year-old daughter, Amy, who was born soon after our marriage. Life is pretty normal, and I'm happy that my daughter is growing up so well. However, I recently acquired another happiness. It's a dream home. We built a new house with the ideal layout, beautiful and spacious, and the best kitchen. I work from home and I have my own room to work in. I have my own quiet room where I can concentrate my work in peace. My daily life is so comfortable and I'm so happy. However, my happy life will turn into hell in just 1 month. My parents are coming over today, so please take care of them. Oh, today too? Do you have any problem? Well, they just came last week too. What's with that tone? I'm doing my duty to my parents. You should at least cooperate a little. Your duty to your parents? I should cooperate a little? You just invite them, but you don't do anything. I'm the one who takes care of them and do everything for them. And why are you telling me this on the day they come? Don't be rude to them. My husband said that and left for work. And then my in-laws came. Finally, we're here. Anna, please make me some tea. But couldn't you have built it a little closer to our house? It's too far away. It's hard to come here every time. I don't want to ever build a house near. My in-laws are relaxed, as if it were their own house, and start asking me to do all kinds of things. I tried to work in my room as much as I could, but my in-laws kept calling me, and I couldn't get anything done. Because of this, I have to work after they go to bed in the middle of the night. Moreover, once my in-laws come, they stay over for 3 days. So I have to leave like this for 3 days. I get less sleep, more stress from all the things that I have to do for them, and my skin and mind are in a horrible state. Moreover, my father-in-law starts smoking in the garden without permission, and my mother-in-law starts leaving her personal belongings in the guest rooms. It's so heavy to bring my stuff every time. The guest room, which was so clean, became untidy at once. Every time I see it, it makes me down. And my father-in-law, who smells like cigarette, wanders around the house, which contaminates the fresh scent of the new home. And there's another reason why I don't like my in-laws. They don't love our daughter. Normally, grandparents think their grandchildren are cute, but not my parents-in-law. When my daughter asked my parents-in-law to play with her, they refused, saying they were too busy now. Then, when my daughter was playing alone in the garden, my father-in-law, who was smoking a cigarette, yelled at her, "You're in my way and you're annoying me." I heard my daughter crying and rushed to the garden to care for her. After that, my daughter never goes near my in-laws. When the in-laws would come over, she would ask, "Can I stay in your room, Mommy?" And she would read quietly in my room. I thought this was not good for her upbringing, so I asked my husband about it. "Hey, I would like you to stop having your parents over every week. Oh, why? Amy's scared of them. The other day, your father said she was in the way of him smoking, and he yelled at Amy while she was playing in the garden. That's terrible, right? You should say something to your father about it too. No, I mean Amy. What? Dad loves his cigarette time. It's not okay to interrupt that. She deserves to be yelled at. What are you talking about? You're the one who's supposed to teach Amy proper manners. That's what happens when you don't discipline her. You think it's my fault? Who else could it be? You're a housewife. You've got to get it together. Huh, I work too. Work from home. You don't make that much money, so don't be so arrogant. A wife's job is to take care of the house. You do everything halfway, earning money, the housework, and raising the kid. Don't you dare talk back to me. That's impossible. What a terrible man. Before we built our house, my in-laws didn't come over at all. And I was busy raising our child, so my husband and I didn't have this much conflict. But now that we've built our new house, I feel as if I've discovered my husband's true nature for the first time. I had no idea he was such a horrible man. Incidentally, my parents-in-law continued to do whatever they want after that. I was really upset when my mother-in-law decided to have a tea party at our house with her neighbors. She suddenly brought about 5 ladies to our house. They told me to make a pot of tea to go with the tea cakes. They asked me to entertain them. They also ordered me to prepare something to eat for them because they were hungry. I hurried, went to a department store and bought some food for them, and I had to pay for everything. It's not what I wanted to do, but if I refuse even just a little bit, my mother-in-law would tell my husband. After that, my husband would snap at me like he did the other day. It's less damaging to me if I just go along with it. Then my mother called me out of the blue. She told me that she and my father were coming to Tokyo on vacation since my father had a few days off from work. First, they were going to visit my brother and his wife, and then they wanted to visit me and my husband. I was so happy to finally be able to show my parents my new house. My husband's in-laws stay with us all the time, so I will have my parents stay with us too. I decided to tell my husband about this plan. My husband always brings his parents without asking me, but I didn't want to be on the same level as my husband, so I decided to tell him in advance. My parents are coming to stay here for 3 days starting next Friday. Then my husband opened his eyes wide and said to me, "What? I didn't want them to stay here? It will be too tiring and crowded." Don't just say things like that out of the blue. Do you really have no common sense? I heard something snap inside me. What about you then? You always tell me in the morning of the day that your parents are coming, and leave everything to me to take care of them. You blame me for the terrible things that they do to our daughter. Too tiring and crowded? That's how I feel every time your parents come over. It's not your place to tell people about common sense. My husband's face turned red and he started yelling at me. Shut up, your wife. It's only natural that you should take care of your husband's parents. It's your job to take care of our daughter too. Unlike you, I go out to work and I'm busy with my job. I can't go through the stress of trying to please your parents. I will never allow them to stay here. I see. I was wrong. You finally understand. You really are a pain in the ass, aren't you? What are you talking about? I said I was wrong to expect anything from you. Huh? I can't believe you're such an asshole. Hey, don't piss me off. You yelled at me earlier and now you're telling me not to piss you off? I'll tell my parents that I'll stay in a hotel with them and you can do whatever you want for the next 3 days starting Friday. I'm going to take Amy and go sightseeing in Tokyo with my parents. You stay here by yourself. Wait a minute, what about my food? You're on your own. What? You can't do it? Wow, that's impossible. All men nowadays can cook for themselves, but you can't even do that? Shut up, of course I can do that. Then there's nothing wrong with it. My husband looked frustrated but didn't say anything. Then I took my daughter and joined my parents. Both my parents and my daughter enjoyed sightseeing in Tokyo. During that time, I received many calls and messages from my husband, but I ignored them. After staying at a hotel with my parents for the next 3 days, I never returned home. I flew with my parents and daughter to my parents' house. In fact, before I left home, I sent my daughter and my belongings to be delivered to my parents' house 3 days later. And I left the divorce papers on the table. When my husband came home from work, he must have seen it and called me several times. When I called him from my parents' house, he was very angry. But when he found out that I was already at my parents' house, he realized that I was serious and he was speechless. After that, I communicated with him through my lawyer. I demanded a divorce and asked for alimony for the mental distress caused by the harassment and child support. I had secretly recorded my husband's harsh words. This became evidence and the claim for alimony was approved. My lawyer was very good at what he did. I was able to get a divorce without any problems and get more alimony than I had expected. By the way, my ex-husband had to pay the alimony on top of the house loan, and he had almost no money left for living expenses. I also had been paying all the bills at home with my income, which I no longer do. Now that I'm at my parents' house with their support, I am able to focus on work even more. I am now able to earn the same amount of money as my ex-husband. It's ironic that my ex-husband's life is harder and I'm richer because of the divorce. I've blocked my ex-husband's contact, so I don't know how he's doing since then. At the rate he's going, he'll probably have to give up the house. Not that it matters to me anymore. On the other hand, I am at home, stress-free, working and spending lots of time with my daughter. I was able to move here just before my daughter started elementary school. So she has no trouble making friends and seems to have made some good ones. I will continue to work hard to earn money and watch my daughter grow up. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you like. See you in the next video.